And one of the hospitals or one of the units had a radioactive source in it. And they thought it might have some scrap value, right? Because they were going to scrap it, take it to the scrap, and get metal price for it. So they put it in a wheelbarrow and they took it home with them. So they started dismantling the equipment. And that same evening, well, as they started disassembling it, they got into the radioactive source that was forgotten at the abandoned hospital that they got. They started getting tools and jabbing it into it, and they started seeing the glowing light, and they started giving it to their kids who spread it on themselves. And dude, it was bad. The next day, or no, that same evening, they all began to vomit because they all started getting radiation sickness because they didn't know they had a radioactive source exposed to all of them.
You've mentioned this story before on one of our episodes.
Yeah, they all,
because I think we were talking about it, and I remember now.
Yeah, they all experienced diarrhea and dizziness, and what happened to them?
They had to have died.
I think they all died.
They had to have.
Being that close and rubbing the stuff on them.
Let's see. Yeah. The entire family died. The 18-year-old ended up dying. He developed lung damage, internal bleeding, and heart damage, and died. The 6-year-old was the daughter of the guy. They had to oh my God. An international team arrived at the hospital to treat her, but the hospital staff confined her to an isolated room because they were afraid to go near her. Her upper body began swelling. She started to lose her hair. Her kidneys and lungs started to be damaged, and she started having internal bleeding. She died on October 23rd. She was buried in a common cemetery, but had to get a special fiberglass coffin lined with lead to prevent the spread of radiation. Yeah, and the 37-year-old wife became sick about 3 days after coming in contact with the substance. She developed hair loss, internal bleeding, especially on the limbs, eyes, and digestive tract. She died October 23rd. And then the guy who got the radioactive source developed serious respiratory and severe respiratory complications and died on October 27th.
Damn.
So actually, not all of them died. One of the people survived after getting 7 gray of radiation. Damn. He died in 94 of cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis?
Of the liver. And from binge drinking from being depressed. Damn. So that's just a little knowledge nugget. A little story time.
Dude. Oof.
So I guess that theory's not too far-fetched then.
Yeah, maybe the people in the Jeeps were military people wanting to sell them the source because they were doing experiments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Y'all ever heard of that nuclear engineer in Japan that the Japanese fucking tortured and kept him alive for like 30 days? He was exposed to like 1,000 times like radiation levels. If you see the pictures of him, just don't even, you have to put this in there, dude. It's fucked up. There's pictures of him being held up by like strings and whatnot, and his skin just like fell off of him, slid off of him, and he begged to die, and the doctors wouldn't let him. For 30 days, he held on.
That's nuts.
All right, so what's this last theory we have written down?
So this theory, of course, is about the possible UFO sighting during the time these two had gone up the hilltop. Several witnesses reported around the same time the men had reportedly died that they had saw a strange round object with a bright halo light flying over the hilltop where the bodies were found. One witness described that they had seen a multicolor, ovid orange object with a ring of fire from which blue rays came from various directions. This belief is that aliens used some type of ray on Manuel and Miguel, which, either sucked their soul or their life force away, leaving their bodies behind to decompose.
Oof, that's intense.
Those lead masks didn't save them. Didn't help him.
No, it didn't. So, I want to hear y'all's take. Gun to your head. What do you think happened to him? Seriously.
So I came up with the theory, kind of. Very interesting. That they were actually trying to build their own TV. Back in the 1960s, TVs actually they actually put off a decent amount of radiation.
No, I didn't know that.
So you know how, like it's an old saying, don't sit close to the TV. You know, you'll get sick or you hurt your eyes or something like that.
My grandfather always used to tell me before the second grade when I was sitting in front of the TV, Aaron, don't sit too close to the TV. You're going to need glasses. It's going to make you go blind. Well, little did he know, I couldn't see anything to begin with. That's why I was sitting so damn close to the TV. So,
yeah.
There you go. Love you, Grandpa.
Grandpa. But yeah, TVs back then actually, gave out some radiation. That's why if you see old movies or stuff like that or pictures, most of the tube TVs sat on the floor. This actually helped stop some of the radiation because it actually came out in kind of like a cone type shape, but it was kind of downward pointing because of the way the TVs were made. So with it being on the floor, it actually helped with that. But they suggested that you stayed, this is the funny part, made me laugh, 6 feet away from the TV. That is the normal watching distance for it. Which I found out that in 1968, Radiation Control for Health and Safety Act was implemented. So that people that made TVs would actually make sure that it wasn't producing a harmful amount of radiation. So I think one thing, they were probably trying to build a TV. So they were, I guess, looking for something to help them build it. But then again, I don't think there's a radiation source. I think it was the electricity that was supposedly putting out the radiation, they said. Health Center said. But the fact that electricians are the ones, say you got Hermes, Miguel, and Manuel. They're electricians. They worked on TVs and all that stuff. If they're working on these TVs and such, maybe they got hit with the radiation, you could say. Had internal radiation going on because they were working on these TVs.
Okay.
That's why they didn't do any toxicology reports on them. Because they figured they already got radiation in them. That's probably what killed them. So why go ahead and do a toxicology report when we're just going to find radiation?
You know what? I like that theory, Dan.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Now, why they died, I still think a con artist got them.
Yeah.
That the pill was some kind of poison, cyanide or something like that. And they were trying to buy something. Probably not trying to build a TV, but they were trying to get something and they got conned and did.
What about you, Hans? Gun to your head.
Gun to my head. I'm probably still going to have to go with the cult.
Spiritualism thing?
Yeah, the spiritualism cult. Not saying all spiritualism is like that, but I'm saying that they got hit by a con artist. They got hit by a, Heaven's Gate looking motherfucker. And them being, into spirituality, and somebody comes up and says, hey, I'm an expert at this. Who are you to question? They're not going to question it. They're going to be like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And then he's like, hey,
take this pill.
Yeah, take this pill. And then boom, the 300,000, what are those called? The 300,000 real. Don't ask how I know. But just know that's what the currency is there. I don't know if that was in the...
It was something else before that.
Well, let's just say, for heaven's sakes, that it's the real. It's 300,000 real go missing. Connors walks away a richer person. And in the end, he leaves two people that society's going to look at like nutcases.
Yeah.
Because it's the 60s. Spiritualism isn't like a big thing, especially in a prominent Catholic country such as Brazil.
Mm.
Yeah, it's only 1.33% of the population in 2000 were this type of...
Yeah. So I can only imagine that like back in the 60s, it was, below that.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to have to... I like yours, Dan, but yeah, I'm going to have to side with Hans on this one. I'm leaning towards the spiritualism route. I don't know why they died, though. I can't really explain that. I do believe that they went up on that hill looking for some spirits and thought that they were going to be blinded by the light. Instead, they took a bad batch of psychedelics and they ended up dying, and that's that. you know, everything just points to that. All right. Well, I do have a surprise at the end of today's show. So whenever we're done with this episode, we'll roll on to that surprise. But do either one of you have anything else to add to today's episode?
Not a thing.
No, I mean, this is a short episode. We tried to find as much as we could on it. I think it was a pretty good episode, though.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely scoured the interwebs for every ounce of information and squeezed the interwebs of all the information we could find. So, yeah, this is the story, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I do have a surprise for you,
Surprises.
for all you listeners, for both you and Hans, Dan.
Ooh.
I did it on the scene this week.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know how the hell you people do on the scene because it didn't turn out too well. And I got actually 3 takes. So the first 2 are pretty short, but the third one I actually got a pretty good response. So we're going to take a listen to the first on the scene I did right now. Aaron on the scene here. Oh, shit. Aaron on the scene here. Tell me what you think about aliens.
No such thing.
So tell me what you think about Bigfoot then.
Go fuck yourself. How about that?
Okay, thank you, sir. What do you think of that? What an asshole, huh?
Dude, that
Go fuck yourself. How about that?
that guy, I think he needs to open his third eye some more.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself. How about that? So what do you guys think about that, huh? Not much luck.
What a rude guy.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my take number 2. So we'll listen to that right now. Hi, my